Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on time. So, my name is Georgina Mieke. I'm founder of the Internegri Migration. I'm based in Jakarta, and I will be your host for today's webinar. So, our topic today is Greece Golden Visa, and it's a residence permit by passive investment. And in this webinar, we will emphasize on the property market. Our speaker today is Judith Leow. She's the director of IPS Malaysia. And we have been partnering with IPS since 2021. So next slide, Judith. Okay, so IPS was established in 2010, and it's an overseas property advisory, especially for Malaysia, Australia, UK, and Spain. And IPS also provides advisory for Golden Visa program, EU Golden Visa, currently Portugal, Greece, and Hungary. And also for Malaysia, my second home, and PVIP. PVIP is a premium visa program for Malaysia, and also for expat visa Spain. And before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce about Internegri migration. So we started our journey in 2018 by promoting EB5 and then followed by Spain Golden Visa. And during pandemic, we expanded our services significantly, and starting 2021, we started to promote Portugal Golden Visa with IPS, and now we facilitated a wide range of overseas residence and immigration programs. Here you can see some of the programs that we facilitate for non-investment. It's a skilled worker programs for especially for Australia and Canada, and EB3 green card for category other workers with unskilled job. And then retirement visa is for EU countries, digital nomad visa for EU countries, and then company information for IFSA Dubai, that you can open a company and then apply residence permit. And for investment, it's entrepreneur visa. It's an active investment that you can open a business. And then EU Golden Visa, it's a passive investment. You can invest in a property or funds and then get a residence permit, and you don't have to move to that country. So you can stay in Indonesia and get the residence card. And also EB5, that's a green card for investors. So that concludes my introduction. Without further ado, it's now my pleasure to hand over the session to my partner, Judith Leow, for her presentation. Judith, the floor is yours.
Okay, so a little bit about Greece. As Georgina mentioned earlier, we promote the European Golden Visas, being Portugal and Hungary, and one of them is Greece. Greece is a very popular option because it allows investment by property. And it's a good time to buy property in Greece at the moment, regardless of the Golden Visa. So I'll go through a little bit more later. But before that, a bit about Greece. It has about 10.4 million population. Most of the population lives in Athens. It is member of EU and also the Schengen Agreement. And it has lots of islands. Thus, it's very famous for island destination hospitality. And the weather is nice. It never gets too cold. And in summer, a little bit hot, but it's very pleasant. And basically, you will have no problem getting by in English. Most of the people who live in the main cities speak fluent English. Their GDP contribution by sector is mostly tourism, thus services, and port services, meaning their port, the Piraeus port, is the fourth largest port in Europe, and it serves a lot of Northern Europe and also Eastern Europe. Other than that, they have agriculture, so things like olive oil and different types of nuts, vegetables, and also basically construction as well forms quite a part of their industry. And basically, in terms of GDP growth, they're doing really well at the moment, surpassing most of the European countries, growing at more than 2% per year. Thus, it is a good time to invest in the country, and of course, property investment is a good investment. And basically, they're famous for tourism. There's lots of things to do in Greece, from the Acropolis to the Delphi to Olympia in Athens, and then of course the islands such as Santorini, Mykonos, Crete, Corfu, which is also a popular island, and they're famous for things like their food, of course, as well, Greek food, and also a lot of Europeans will go to Greece for like spas, getaway, and all that. Foodie and spas getaway. In terms of the property market, which we want to focus on quite a bit, it is actually a great time to invest in the Greek property market at the moment. What we found was during the economic crisis between 2009 and sort of 2013, property prices plunged, and then it slowly grew. And then during the pandemic, it went down again. So property prices are around the same as when it was before sort of the climb up, and it is a good time currently to invest, a good time to look at capital appreciation. What we're also finding is there is a lack of properties to rent, so it is a good time for the rental market as well. So the combination of low entry prices, high growth potential makes Greece an attractive destination for both domestic and international investors alike. More so, the transfer tax is relatively low at only 3.09%. Foreigners and locals all pay the same. And there's no capital gains tax. So when you sell the property one day, you don't have to pay for capital gains tax. It has one of the lowest municipal council tax in Europe. So it looks looking like it's around 200 euros per year. The maintenance cost as well is very low. It's less than 100 per month for most buildings. And they don't have VAT for new buildings since 2019. So cost of construction is also relatively low compared to the rest of Europe. And you get around 4% rental yield, and it's quite easy to find a tenant. Some of the buildings come with a guaranteed rental, and rental income tax is only at around 15% per annum. It's only at 15% per annum. It climbs, but anything below sort of 12,000, which is around the market which we usually transact for golden visa, because the minimum investment is 250,000. It's at 15%. So in terms of the golden visa, why it's popular, or the popularity, is actually there's around 48,000 golden visa holders, basically it is one of the most popular in the world, especially for European golden visa. Actually, it has one of the highest. It has the highest actually applicants. And the reasons why are the entry price or the investment is low. It's only 250,000 euros compared to other programs, and the property can be rented out for yield. So you don't make a loss. You're actually investing in an asset, and investing in an asset in the longer run, invested wisely, you make money from this asset in terms of yield and a potential capital appreciation, and you get a golden visa as a cherry on the pie. And the residency of validity is 5 years, but you can renew that. As long as you hold the investment, you renew it indefinitely. There's no minimum stay requirement. And you just need to go once in 5 years for your biometrics before you get the next card. And the processing time is relatively fast, around 10 months. The family coverage includes spouse, children, and parents of both spouses. And with this card, you have visa-free travel throughout EU and Schengen. So you're not tied to one country. It's not like a lot of Indonesians, I suppose, when your first year, you go to Spain. Second year, you go to France. But when you apply to the embassy, you have to still show you are going through Spain or spending a large amount of time in Spain. This one, you just travel. It opens up the 29 countries. You show this card at any of the immigration. You go even if it's a Greece gold card, you can show it in Paris and you will get in. You can show it in Milan and you will get in. You can show it in Zurich and you will get in as well. So you don't have to worry about the Schengen visa anymore. And basically, if you stay more than 7 years, then it leads to citizenship. But this is a good investment and a travel card on top of that, and a plan B should you need. Also, a plan B sometimes in terms of allocating of bank accounts and things like that. It's also a good destination. So what is the EU and Schengen? There are 25 countries in the EU, and you add 4 countries, and those are in blue, and you add 4 countries on top of that, which is the Schengen countries. So it's Iceland, Norway, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. That's 29 countries for your mobility and for your convenience as well for travel. And I suppose if you do business, for doing business as well in Europe. So other reasons or the criteria is very simple. You just need a proof of qualifying investment. We just need the title. You do get a title when you purchase a property, and the title is almost always freehold. You're buying a charming property, part of history, and it's freehold. You can make around 4% rental yield, a good chance of a capital appreciation of around 5% per year. So I suppose it makes sense. You have to be non-EU Swiss national, and you have to have health insurance to cover your stay in Greece. So these are some of the reasons. The entry price, entry minimum investment is also low. Basically, if you were to buy, it's 250,000, but if you are to buy a residential meaning is the operative word, and it's in the main cities, 800,000 is the minimum investment. If it's outside of the main cities and it has to be a certain size as well, then 400,000 is the minimum investment, residential property. But if the property is converted from commercial to residential, or it's a restoration of some listed historical buildings, regardless of the location and regardless of the size, it's 250,000 euros. So why? Because the government wants us, foreign investors, to go in and renew commercial properties to make it residential. Why? Because there's not enough residential for people to buy and for people to rent. Most of the European countries, they don't allow building up. Like, they don't allow sky space. They don't allow these 50-level buildings and stuff like that. You don't see any in most of the European cities. Why? Because they want to preserve the original skyline. Much of the original skyline has historical meaning. For example, in Athens, they have the Acropolis, and they want to preserve that view. And thus, the height restriction of the original building is the height restriction. If it was a 3-story building, it will have to remain 3 stories. And maximum, I would say, is around 6 stories, 6 or 7 stories, the buildings. They're not a lot higher than that. And because of that, there is a limited space to build in or to create residencies in. And therefore, they have most of the European cities have a crisis of not enough homes in the main cities to buy or to rent, and they need foreign investment to help them to build more homes. In terms of family reunification, you can bring in your spouse, children up to 21, parents of the applicant, and parents of the spouse. You do need a power of attorney when you start, so that's part of our job. We assist you with recommending you a lawyer and drafting the power of attorney. This needs to be apostilled, but don't worry, Georgina and her team are very experienced with that. And then it's relatively simple. Valid passport, proof of health insurance, I'll come to that later. Proof of the investment, which is the title deed. And did I mention it is a freehold title deed? And a proof of relationship with reunified members, such as birth certificates and also marriage certificates. Now, this process is really simple. It actually starts from choosing the investment, and that's our job. We deal with probably 20 over property developers, and I prefer to deal with more established ones, but there are about 20 over that create these conversion properties, established ones. And we look at each property, and then I create a list, which changes, I think, every week. Because new properties launch and I add those properties, and then new properties sell out. Because of the height restrictions, a property could range from 3 apartments to maybe 40 apartments in one building, usually no more than that, averaging at around maybe 10 to 12 apartments in one building. So the properties come and go, particularly the ones with, good views and good, sort of good layout. So I try and spot them, and then I create my own list of what I think will be a good investments in terms of location, in terms of layout, in terms of pricing, in terms of rental demand, and I present that to you. Usually I narrow it down to about 3 or 4, depending on your requirements. Some people want sea facing, some people want Acropolis views. They're rare, but if I can, I would find them and then I'll present them to you. So usually that is the longest process, finding an investment. And then after that, once you select your investment, depending on how new it is and whether we've transacted any before, we take some time to do legal due diligence, but sometimes this has been done already. Then we obtain your Greece tax number. You're not subject to worldwide tax unless you stay more than 183 days per year, which is absolutely not necessary, and because there's 0-day stay. So, and you only pay tax on your rental income, which is 15% per annum. And basically, you complete the investment, and then we collect all the documents, which is your passport. I'll come to health insurance later, proof of investment, and basically birth certs and marriage certs. The lawyer translates those documents into Greek, and we submit for the golden visa. It's actually as easy as that. And we pay the small amount of applicable government fees. I'll cover that later. And we then receive a temporary residence, which is a blue certificate. It's actually a white letter, and everything in Greece is blue. It allows you to travel to Greece and stay in Greece if you want while the application is processed. And then after that, you go for your biometrics. After the biometrics, the card comes out, the lawyer collects it, and they post it to you. And the whole process takes around, I would say on average, 10 to 11 months. Now, going to a little bit of numbers, we actually have a calculator, but just based on a property that's 250,000, you have the costs are a purchase tax of 3.09%, which I covered just now. Everyone pays the same, locals and foreigners. Notary of 1.24%, land registry 0.65% plus 750. The resident permit fees is only 2,000 euros. And when you include family members, it's only 150 each. Issuance of cards is only 16 euros. And basically, medical coverage is like this. This has to be paid every year. It's on average about 100 per year. Don't worry, it's more than covered by your rental income. And basically, if you're under 40, it's about 70 a year. If you are 40 to 65, which is where most of our clients fall under, it's about 100 a year. And if you're above 65 to 75, it's 130 a year. Above 75, it can get quite expensive. So basically, medical insurance, is an annual cost, and then legal fees, it's about 1,000 per applicant, and property legal fees is about 1,000 plus VAT. All together, for 250,000 property, you spend about 275,000, and it should cover everything for an average family of about 4 people. Okay, a little bit about Athens. So this is the airport, Athens airport. When you fly in, this is the airport. And Athens main city is here in the red sort of line. It takes around an hour, about 45 minutes by car, 45 minutes by car when you drive into the city. And by train, you can take the blue line, and it also leads into Athens city and all the way to Piraeus as well, if you like. And basically Athens city, right in the center of Athens city is the Acropolis. Almost every building is lower than the Acropolis, and in many rooftops, you can actually get the Acropolis as a view. The other area so this is Athens with the center of Acropolis. The other 2 areas worth noting is Piraeus, which is the port. It's the 4th largest port in Europe. It is also the marina for ships, cruise ships that come in, and also ferries that would take you to the islands. And a lot of people live in the island, so sometimes they would come in. They would in fact bring their car, so you can put your car in the ferry and go to one of the islands and drive around. The other area worth noting is Glyfada. So Glyfada is the Athens Riviera, and it's a very great place to invest at the moment, because in this wide area they're building a project called the 𝙂𝙂𝙀𝙀𝘾, and the 𝙂𝙂𝙀𝙀𝘾 is Europe's largest project. They want to make it look, I suppose, a little bit like Singapore or Dubai. There will be hotels and all that, where it will have new buildings. It was the old airport, so they're creating a new lifestyle location in the Greek Riviera, in the Athens Riviera. I'm going to go through 3 sample properties. Remember, I said we deal with quite a few developers, and at any one time, I'm probably reviewing 30 to 40 projects. But these are the 3 that I think are suitable at sort of 250,000 and form relatively good investments. And some are situated in sort of different locations, which I will cover. One in Piraeus, one in the Athens city, and one in Glyfada, I think so. If not, then I can come back and present those few. So these are what I picked. This one is in Piraeus. They are luxury service apartments. Many of our clients like apartments with, say, gym, rooftop pools. This one even comes with a spa, a rooftop cafe, pool, cinema, gym, sauna, hydro, massage, concierge. I think this would be a really great rental to young professionals, because Piraeus is a port and there's a lot of young professionals working there in the logistics and port industries. And so you would get a good constant rental yield, and it's a hip sort of concept and a place to stay. So as I mentioned before, Piraeus is the port. This one is located very near, like 10 minutes walk from the main city of Piraeus, where mostly all the logistic companies, most of the logistic companies are based. And it's also walkable distance, again, that same about 10 minutes to the metro, and the metro takes you directly into the city and into the airport if you like. Basically, to drive to the main city of Athens, it's around maybe half an hour drive. It's not far, but the roads are a bit small, so it's about half an hour drive. And to train to the city is probably around half an hour or 40 minutes as well by metro. So this is what the Piraeus port looks like at night or in the evening at sunset. It is really very pleasant and very beautiful, and the property is basically there. So the port is sort of a walkable distance, and from this port the cruise ships come, and so it's very pleasant at night, and also where the ferries go to the islands. This area is the luxury yacht marina. And then there's some more luxury yacht marinas as well over here. Very pleasant location. The property is 10 minutes walk to this Piraeus train line, and through the blue line you get directly into the city and also to the airport. This is again, this is the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝙀𝘾 project, this entire project. This one is probably a 20 minutes drive away, but we actually have a property that is just a 1 minute walk from here. In terms of properties in the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project, because this area has been already designated as residential for the residential part, then it's 800,000 minimum investment. So, but surrounding it, we do have some 250,000 minimum investment eligible golden visa properties. Okay, so it has a rooftop bar, and also it is actually run by the same group that is running the Hilton residences nearby. And I will skip through, but basically it has full amenities, and I will cover the sort of location. So a lot of the time we will show you the location via Google Maps of where it is. This is Pirew's main city. This is the building. And then we will show you the floor plan, the facing, etc. Okay, I'm going to cover another one in Pirew's. It's called Etoliko Seafront for those that want sea view. This one is right at the port. So as I said, we do show you a couple, and we can compare and contrast the different reasons why you should get this one faces the sea directly, and what it sort of offers. And then we show you the floor plan. We show you the views from Google Maps, and also from some pictures or renders. And then we sort of, give you sort of a summary of the project, and we can delve deeper including calculators, etc. I also added in this one, I think because the theme of this one was sea views. So this one is 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝙀𝘾 view. And this one is the one near Glyfada. And also 1 minute walk actually from the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project. So the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project is Europe's largest project, and it will consist of residential, it will consist of a marina, it will consist of a beach hotel and branded residences. There's a cove, there's a marina hotel, there's a Riviera, there is a new yacht marina. And basically from Pirew's side and from Glyfada's side, it sort of amalgamates everything. Glyfada is the luxury resort, so you would find like one and only hotel and all these 6-star resorts all situated there. And the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 park as well is here. So it's called the project 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project. Basically, so it's situated here, right at the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project, and the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 experience or the 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project is well on its way. I would say the last time I went was a year ago, and there were cranes everywhere. So it's well on its way to being beautiful. So this project will have a good chance of capital appreciation as well, because of sort of the new township, I suppose, being developed there, and it will be a modern township. It will be what people want to go for holidays and also to live. The main investors are from the Middle East, so they want to make it look like a mini, convenient spots, like a lot of sort of developments in Dubai. That's what it's going to look like, and you can find like videos and all that of how it will look like. It's beautiful. This one at a glance, it has 28 apartments, and it has sea views, and the nearest metro station is just 1 minute walk. It has supermarkets nearby, really beautiful. And this one has its own pool as well, and modern amenities as well. It has a rooftop area, communal rooftop with sea view. The views will look like this, so you get sea views and through the new 𝙂𝙍𝙀𝘾 project. So it's very beautiful view. This this is the sunset view, yeah, it's quite beautiful. So This is where I stop. If you like to look for at other projects in Athens City, we have quite a few, and we can sort of propose what you need. Oh, Judith, I'm looking for something that's 250,000, and I want as much as possible, right? And I want certain criteria, certain sizes. I don't mind a little bit more than 250,000, but I want a 2-bedroom, I want a car park. Will help you source something as much as available at that point in time. Any questions?